sure that okay, great. So, yep, we can hear you.
Awesome, 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 awesome. So right now, all of the game and mechanics can be summarized with what we have on the screen here. The grass is there for me working on the shader and some optimization and stuff. But otherwise, basically, between the cloud, the weed, and this black box, which is actually the wheelbarrow way over there, this is our whole game so far. When we play our game, hold on one second. All right, there we go. Player can run around, trip over weeds. Not tripping over weeds anymore. That's fine. Plant stuff. Switch their inventory from mixing, so I can do the water, right, and then do the water, and then they switch back to. That's not right. Switch back to the water. Dang it. Oh, I was switching to the wrong. I was switching to the wrong thing. I need the seeds. That explains it. It triggers animations every time you click on stuff. That's a small bug, but it's not game breaking, as you can see. You just got to wait for the animation to finish. You can run around, you can plant stuff. Um, the actual plants themselves don't grow to harvest, and we don't have any monster states for any of the plants yet. But I can go ahead and plant them, and you can see that it's there, and I can't plant over the top of it again. I got to plant behind it, or around it. The weeds can be pulled.
Cute, cute.
Oh yeah, super cute. And the ground color, is super off because I was messing with the grass, and so I'm using the same shader as on the vines as I am on the ground, which is why you can't really see them very well. But anyways, that's basically it. Um, and then for setting everything up, I have been creating inside of our prefabs folder. So like here's the cloud, um, the corn missiles, the fertilizer is going to be there, which is going to be a bottle. But what so like if you were going to start a new scene from scratch, you'd drag all this stuff in. However, for scenes, I've been creating this collaborative. So like this is a testing folder, but this is Gamer King's actual folder. So if we go to, I think I called it game. Yes. So this is what the game world scene thing would look like if because I just started it from scratch because I wanted to do these separate prefabs. So like this is the actual compiled main game scene. But if I was gonna, or if you were gonna go in, you would be working on this one, which looks very similar to this, but you'll notice the selection over here in the top left has changed. So you can load this scene, and you can work on your Octopro main scene prefabs, and you can move these around, say, right? Place them in a different spot in the world. Go to your prefab, apply all your changes, and then in the main scene over here, we can see that all of our changes for the circles were applied to the actual game scene, the main one with the UI and everything.
Okay.
So this scene right here was never meant to be edited. So I'm going to rename it. So that way, but but yeah, that's basically it. So I was thinking everybody would have their own prefab
Okay.
at the origin of each of these at the world, and then you just modify your own prefab, and then you're good to go.
Okay.
But
Sounds good.
there's there is vine damage. I got to talk to I can't remember who was working on the vine damage. Brian did the vine damage. Lori did money. So when the crops are ready to be harvested, there is a money system in place. And then if I go back to if I come back to here, the wheelbarrow does work or did work. Find out here in a second. Looks like the wheelbarrow is not grabbing anymore. It used to. The player could run up to it. There was a trigger somewhere. Oh, the trigger seems to be inside the box now. There was a trigger. Oh, box 2D collider? That's not right. It looks like I'm going to have to add the wheelbarrow back to my to-do list. But it was working when I got it from whatever. I must have broke it somehow in my state machine when I converted the player over to have a variety of states.
All right.
So it's probably just a boolean that's no longer being set, because that's what it was when it was working. It was just a bool. Player has wheelbarrow.
Just to recap, then, so we have you've been doing some testing with the shaders just to get the right look. The planting is there. The
Yep.
weeding is there.
Yep.
Are any of the plants with their, like, for instance, projectiles or any way to damage the player?
No, as far as I know, there's no combat. However, the corn may still shoot those corn voids after the player after a brief period of time.
Yeah.
Oh, I also upgraded our whole our project settings to use the new universal render pipeline, which is why everything looks kind of different. And you may notice in our materials that there are a lot of purple stuff that is not working anymore, and that's because these are old shaders, and they do not work in the new universal render pipeline.
Okay.
Everything that can be upgraded has been upgraded. Everything that has this orange either needs a new material to be created for the URP and added, or the asset needs to be deleted and re-imported. But depending on what we're keeping and whatnot. But one of the things I wanted to show you as we're building our asset is this search box right here in our project also searches the asset store, and we can toggle it to search for free assets.
Okay.
So for example, if I wanted to find a barrel, I can now search the asset store, and here's a bunch of free barrels, and I can, acquire them and download them, but I can also see them in my projects and stuff.
Okay. See
and yeah, but this searches inside other assets too. So like this barrel might be part of another free, thing called here's my free stuff, right? And that's what he called his asset. So like, how would you find it? But it lets you search, and you can download the barrels, the materials, some colliders. I mean, if we look for like how, like you can find some pretty cool
Okay.
some pretty cool sprites and
Test
stuff.
out the look and see if you like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of stuff in here, models and stuff that can be brought in, and so like a lot of the basically everything, basically nothing uses the universal render pipeline. So everything that you bring in is going to have this. But if you come up here to edit, render pipeline, universal render pipeline, upgrade project materials to universal render pipeline material, it will go through the shaders automatically and attempt to convert them to the universal render pipeline. And most materials can be automatically converted to the render pipeline.
Okay.
Most of them. And I'm willing to bet you any free material or shader that you pull off the asset store probably can be upgraded automatically, because it's probably not using anything super fancy.
Okay. All right. So I have a question, which is, what do you think comes next? What do we need? What would you like?
So I have been primarily focused on getting you this build. But now that I don't really have much of a direction. I'm thinking to myself that it may be in our best interest for me to work on that puddle shader, because I feel like with that and the raining and the cloud and the planting, that kind of feels like a fun game, or at least in my head it does.
Okay.
Like running around and watering a ton of crops. So I'm planning on so I was thinking, if I get that in, what I'm going to do is this farm. So I've created a farm prefab with 5 rows, and you just duplicate the rows if you want to add, a farm with more rows, and then you can just duplicate the whole farm and move it somewhere else. You know what I mean? And now I've got 2 farms.
Okay. So you would like
But
more
I'm
testing
thinking,
so we can do direction on
so
what we think we
for,
can do.
yeah, for me, what I want to do is I want to do the puddles, so that way the player can run around here, and I want like quite a few farms all over here with and then I'm going to write a simple script that's going to plant seeds in all of them all at once, and have the player stand in the middle, and then just send the cloud out and rain all over it in the puddles, and then watch the plants grow, and then post that as a GIF to our Discord. And I'm hoping that kind of visible playing mechanic with some artistic puddles and animations and the shader and everything else will entice people to participate in the project.
Yeah.
However, if you don't think people are looking for shaders right now and they're looking for functionality, I can work on the mechanics. But right now, I don't know what to do.
I'm okay with at least giving it a week to 2 weeks to test out the mechanics that we already have, just so we don't build upon something that we're like, it's just not working right.
Okay.
So if you want to go ahead and make it do some visual stuff, I think that's perfectly fine. And then I think the week after that. So let me look. Okay, so I think I'm gonna stop the video now. But any other questions, comments, concerns?
All right. So here's what I think we should do. So then I will focus on those shaders and kind of just making the thing prettier. But at the same time, you should come to me with bugs and things like, for example, like, hey, I can't grab the wheelbarrow, I can't test it, so that way I can fix it and send you a patch.
Okay.
Because now that you have your GitHub set up, you don't need to download the whole project all over again. You can just update certain files,
Yeah.
and so I can send you those and over GitHub, and
So
then you can work on your mechanics.
Testing, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a place where we're gonna probably. What would be a good place to put bugs and such?
I'm thinking maybe the bottom or the top of the game design document, maybe even a channel here in Discord.
Yeah, we can have new bugs and
probably.
Show me the bug.
Yeah, probably the best thing to do is a channel in Discord. Show me the bugs, because nobody's used anything else. Almost nobody checks the doc. Nobody uses the hack and plan.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think everything just has to stay on Discord.
By the way, what are you actually using to update features? Mostly the game design doc?
I haven't been.
Yeah.
I have not been documenting features and stuff as they put them in because it didn't seem like anybody was checking them. So I just posted in programming and design and stuff like that as I go.
Yeah, so I do try to keep at least the doc updated. That's the only one I actually use. But I'm gonna give it some extra time just so I can, just have it nice and much cleaner in other terms. But yeah, let me update that, and then we'll get back to showing it, because that's the way I ended up showing Brian, like, what the features were. But yeah. Anyways, okay. So other than that, I think we're good. Let's see. I'm gonna end this one. Okay, 16 minutes.